Hi, Sajil, Mr. Maney here. Look, thanks for the question on the What I Wish I Knew channel on Teams. The way I read it, you're doing chapter 10.3, and for some reason you decided you needed to look at solving polynomial equations of this form, the 3x squared minus 14x minus 5, to see what the roots are. That is how they solve. So if I'm barking up the wrong tree, let us know. You did stipulate it's under the apps option 8.1, so we'll look at that. This is the nature of the question that I presume you want me to solve, so what are the roots for that? So typically, if that was to equal to 0, what things could we get? So without the calculator, we'd have to go through that process. Typically it's the AC process. AC where A equals 3, C is -5, so that gives us -15. And what are the two options that we could get, which if we multiply by will actually give us -14. So here -15 and 1. Although with -15 there's lots of different things we can put it in. 15, -1, -3, 5, and 3, -5. These are our factor pairs. Each of these multiply to give -15, but it's only this one that's actually going to provide us that when we add them, we also get this -14, which works to be our check, this b value. So if I put those in, so again, the focus here is just solving these using algebraic methods, and we'll swap over the calculator in a second. But you can see here I've rewritten -14 as that -15x plus 1x, so that's where I'm getting the -15x plus 1x from. We can then say let's factorize these. So I look at the first two pairs here. I'm looking solely at those two, and I'm saying that 3 and x are both common factors to that. And if I bring that out the front, I get x take 5. And now if I look at my second pair here of terms, I can put a +1 outside of there, and out of those, that's +1's about the only common factor that we've got that goes into both of those, and I bring it out. You'll notice as we get something like this that in fact those brackets should be, if we've done it correctly, should be right. Get rid of that. Once I've done that, x minus 5 becomes a common factor. You can see we've got a plus sign and a term to the left of it, term to the right, so x minus 5 is a common factor, and 3x plus 1 is the other factor. And if we let that equal 0, either as I've done here from the outset or using the normal factor law, then we can say, well, x minus 5 will equal 0, or 3x plus 1 equals 0. And it follows then that x would equal 5, or x would equal to -1/3. So that's the process I would adopt if it was, say, in a tech-free situation. Your question quite specifically says what happens if I want to solve this same nature of equation, but I've got it, I've got my calculator all ready to go, and that can be really useful, a nice thing. So going to the apps menu and selecting option 8, which is the polynomial simultaneous 2. Polynomial simultaneous. So I believe that's what it's referring to. And then option 1 is polynomial root finder. So by roots, what we mean are solving for values of it. So here, these are the roots of this equation. So 5 and -1/3 are the roots, and that's what it means. So when we look here, and I hope that's clear enough, you will see that basically we have the order of the equation. Now, because it's a quadratic, the order is 2. That is the highest power of the equation. So we can use this for any type of equation we like. I'm going to use it for the quadratic. So you look at the highest power, which in this case is 2, and you select 2 there. Now, everything else should remain as real, auto, normal, float, and degree. They can all stay as is. We then use this button, which corresponds, and you can't see it, it's a bit glary, but there's a next here that's sitting up here just above the graph button. So by hitting graph, it'll actually select the next. And we've now got some options which allow us to place in, and I've already placed them in. Okay, I've already placed them in for you, but I'll just repeat the process here so you can see. So there's a dark rectangle there that highlights what you're currently on, so I'm going to put 3 in there, and you see that the 3 actually pops up here. I press enter, and you see that the dark rectangle moves along to the next part, which in my equation is a negative, so I've placed a minus sign there, and again press enter, and it moves along. And I just repeat that process of 14 minus, and 5. And once I've got all those values in, again you can see, and I've changed the contrast so you can see it, there's a solve option here. So if I press the button here, graph, which corresponds to the solve, it'll actually come through and give me the roots. So it gives me the roots of negative a third and 5, similar to what we actually found when we actually did them analytically or using algebraic methods. Okay, so calculator will actually do that. And as I said, the benefit of this, and I'm pleased you got me onto this, the benefit with this one is if we do that, we can find not just quadratic equations, but cubics, quartics, and all sorts of different powers that will actually solve those for us and give those as the roots. Okay, hope that's answered your question. Get back to me if it doesn't. Cheers.